Okay, before we get into the analytical part of this, finding the focus, finding the directrix, being able to graph these things, I did a little freehand sketch here of a parabola. I was having some printer issues, sorry, but I did want to talk a little bit about the why parabolas. Where do we see this in real life and how can we use this, okay? One of the properties of a parabola, and this is more of a physics thing than math, but math and physics are so intertwined, says that if any kind of ray or beam or particle comes in perpendicular to the directrix and hits the parabola, so here is some beam or particle or ray and hits the parabola, it will always be reflected through that focus, that specific point. So it will get reflected and hit that point. So if you can imagine a bunch of different rays coming in from somewhere, wherever they're coming from, and hit the parabola, they all get reflected right to this specific part called the focus. Can you think of something in real life where that would come in handy? Things coming in from somewhere else, getting reflected and all hitting a specific point. Okay, how about the opposite of that? The opposite of that would say then, if something gets emitted from this point, if something gets shot out, a particle, a ray, a beam, and gets shot out, wherever it hits the parabola, it will get reflected out perpendicular to the directrix. So maybe something gets fired out this way and hits the parabola and gets shot out perpendicular to the directrix. So anything gets shot out. Where could we see this? Where would this have use for us in real life? You don't know, don't worry. I have the examples I was going for right here. Here's the first one. How about a satellite dish? These satellite dishes, you'll notice they all have this specific point in the middle of them. That would be the focus, where all these electromagnetic waves and information coming in from satellites come in and hit this parabolic reflector and then are reflected and are directed straight to this specific point. And this specific point, they'll put a transmitter or something to collect all this information. So notice on all these, they all have that specific point. If we did some math, we could figure out where is the focus for this cross-section of parabola, and it's going to be right where they put this transmitter, okay? They're using this stuff. How about the opposite one? The opposite one is if you emit something from the focus, wherever it gets emitted will bounce off the parabola and come out perpendicular to the directrix. So all these particles of light and these waves of light are being emitted at a specific point. They'll hit this reflector, this parabolic reflector, parabolic mirror, and they'll get reflected out as a beam of light. So just a couple of examples of where we can see this in real life and where we can use this stuff, okay? So let's dive in a little bit and be able to find those specific parts. Where are the focus? Where is the directrix for this particular